Hello, class, and welcome back to the second part of our lecture on texting etiquette in the professional setting. So, to set a professional and appropriate tone, which is what we'll be talking about next, in a text message is essential. And it's essential in doing so to keep the message clear and concise and direct. The first thing to keep in mind is the tone of the message. The tone should always be respectful and courteous and professional. The message should convey the same level of professionalism that would be expected in any other form of communication. And one way to maintain a professional tone is to avoid using slang, abbreviations, or emojis that might be misinterpreted. For instance, avoid using emojis such as the face with tears of joy, which might be viewed as unprofessional in some situations. It's also important to avoid inappropriate language or humor, as this can easily be misconstrued. In the social and community service worker setting, text messages are often used to communicate with clients, colleagues, and other professionals. For example, if a social worker is sending a text message to a client regarding a scheduled appointment, the tone should be courteous and professional. The message should include the date, time, and location of the appointment, along with any other pertinent details. It is also important to be mindful of the tone when responding to text messages. When replying to a text message, it is important to respond promptly and concisely. Responding promptly shows that you value the person's time and are committed to providing excellent service. In essence, then, setting a professional and appropriate tone in a text is essential in the social and community service worker setting. And by keeping the message clear and concise and direct, while avoiding slang, abbreviations, and inappropriate language or humor, we can maintain a professional and respectful tone in our text messages. And just remember to be mindful of the tone when responding to text messages, and always respond promptly and concisely. Now, a professional tone in text messages is essential because it reflects your personality and your professionalism. It sets the tone for the entire conversation and can influence how your message is perceived by the recipient. Now, here are some key factors to consider when creating a professional tone in text messages. First off, be clear and concise. It's important to communicate clearly and concisely in your text message and avoid using complex sentences or technical jargon that may be confusing to the recipient. So keep your message brief and to the point, and yet use proper grammar. And that brings me to my next point. Use proper grammar and spelling. Proper grammar and spelling are critical in creating a professional tone. Use complete sentences, capitalize appropriately, and avoid using abbreviations that may not be familiar to the recipient. As I've mentioned before, avoid using emojis and abbreviations. Now, while emojis and abbreviations may be a common form of communication in personal messaging, they can be perceived as unprofessional in a professional setting. So avoid using them unless you know the recipient well and are very confident that they will be well received. Also, always show empathy and respect. A professional tone should also reflect this empathy and respect to the recipient. Always use appropriate greetings and sign-offs, and consider the recipient's feelings and perspectives when composing your messages. Next, use a polite and positive tone. A polite and positive tone can help to establish a good relationship with the recipient. Use phrases such as please and thank you to show your appreciation and try to convey a positive attitude in your message. In the social and community service worker setting, a good example of creating a professional tone in a text would be when following up with a client. For example, after a client meeting, you may send a follow-up text message to confirm the next steps. In this message, you could say something like, "Hello, John. I hope you are well. Just wanted to follow up on our meeting earlier and confirm that we will be sending over the paperwork for you to review by the end of the week. Please let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you." And then put your name. Now, very simple, very clear, very concise, showing empathy, showing respect to the client. It sets a positive tone and provides a professional follow-up to the meeting. So in essence, creating a professional tone in a text message is essential in today's fast-paced professional world. We want to communicate effectively and efficiently, but we always need to remember those key factors of establishing a positive and professional relationship through our communication. So remember, be clear and concise, use proper grammar and spelling, avoid emojis and abbreviations, show empathy and respect, and use a polite and positive tone. Now, according to research, we also should be very timely and use clarity, because these are crucial factors in the effectiveness of text messages in the professional setting. So let's take a closer look at each of these factors. First off, timeliness. Timeliness really refers to the timely delivery of a text message and the response to a text message. In the professional context, timely delivery of messages is critical as it shows that the sender values the recipient's time and is proactive in that communication. Similarly, timely responses to text messages are equally important as they indicate that the recipient has read and acknowledged the message. For example, in the social and community service worker setting, timeliness can be crucial in scheduling appointments, delivering important messages, and following up with clients. Delayed responses can lead to misunderstandings, missed appointments, and even a lack of trust between the service provider and the client. And the research literature suggests that timely text messages are most effective when they are concise, to the point, and straightforward. So it's essential to avoid sending irrelevant or unnecessary messages which can lead to confusion and frustration. We also need to be clear. Clarity refers to the clear and concise expression of thoughts and ideas in the text message. So in a professional setting, clear and concise text messages are essential to avoid any misunderstandings and to ensure the effective communication. Using proper grammar and punctuation, using simple and understandable language, and avoiding the use of technical jargon are all important aspects of ensuring clarity in text messages. And as I've reiterated time and time again, emojis, abbreviations, and slang should not be used. And if they are used, use them sparingly. But ideally, don't use them at all, as they can be misunderstood by the recipient. For example, in the social and community service worker setting, clear and concise text messages can help to provide clients with important information such as appointment times, directions, and resources available to them. Unclear messages can lead to confusion, missed appointments, and a lack of trust between the service provider and the client. So research literature suggests that clear text messages are most effective when they provide all the necessary information without any ambiguity. Text messages should be proofread before sending to ensure that they are free from errors and that the message is clear. In essence, the research literature highlights the importance of timeliness and clarity in text messages in the professional setting. Text messages should be concise, straightforward, and easy to understand to ensure effective communication. So, in essence, it's important to use texting etiquette to maintain a proper image and avoid misunderstandings that can damage personal and professional relationships. Now, we've discussed the dangers of using texting inappropriately, such as using inappropriate language and tone or emojis. We've explored the importance of being aware of who we are communicating with and considering their preferences and communication styles. We also examine the research literature on what makes for a professional tone and setting the appropriate tone in our messages. We learn that setting a professional tone includes using appropriate language, avoiding slang or jargon, being clear and concise, and using proper grammar and punctuation. Additionally, we learn that being timely in our responses is important to maintain good communication and avoid misunderstandings. Furthermore, we explored how texting can be helpful in the social and community service setting, providing real-time communication and updates that can make a significant difference in the lives of those in need. And we discussed how texting can help streamline communication and improve efficiency when used appropriately. And overall, it's important to remember that texting is a powerful tool that should be used with care in the professional context. By following proper texting etiquette and setting a professional tone and being timely and clear in our messages, we can use this communication tool effectively to build relationships and help those in need. Now, I want to thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed this lecture and found it very informative, and I will see you in our next lecture. You take care. Goodbye.